Let me paint you a picture. It's the end of March. Indian Wells is done. Alcaraz is lifting another trophy, and Sinner is sitting in his chair, racket beside him, watching it happen again. If that plays out next week, and right now, honestly, it feels like it could, the points gap between these two, it becomes something that's really hard to close before the clay season. And at that point, we stop talking about a rivalry and start talking about a runaway. That's the situation Sinner is walking into right now. And I don't think enough people are talking about how serious it actually is. I want to start with the points, because the numbers tell the story better than anything else. Alcaraz has had a perfect 2026. Australian Open, Doha, no losses. He's been picking up points at a rate that very few players in the world can match right now. Every week he plays deep. Every week more points stack up. And the lead he's building over everyone, including Sinner, is starting to become very real. Sinner, meanwhile, has been going in the opposite direction. He came into 2026 as defending champion at the Australian Open. That means he had a mountain of points to defend there. He lost in the quarterfinals, so instead of adding points, he lost them. A big chunk, gone. Then the smaller tournaments, Rotterdam, Doha, more early exits, more points either not defended or not gained. So while Alcaraz has been building, Sinner has been losing ground, not because Alcaraz is taking his points directly, but because Sinner keeps leaving points on the table that he can't afford to leave. Now, Indian Wells is next, and this one is massive. Indian Wells is worth 1,000 ranking points to the winner. 1,000. That's the same as a Grand Slam finalist. It's the kind of tournament where the result doesn't just affect your week, it affects your whole year. And here's the thing that makes this particularly uncomfortable for Sinner. He has never won Indian Wells, not once in his career. His best result there is a quarterfinal, which is fine, but it's not the kind of run that closes a gap. If he goes quarterfinal again while Alcaraz wins the whole thing, we're talking about a points difference that becomes genuinely difficult to bridge before Roland Garros. Think about what the calendar looks like after Indian Wells. You've got Miami, then the clay season starts, then Roland Garros. That's roughly 2.5 months. 2.5 months to close what could be a very large points gap on surfaces that are constantly shifting against a player who is currently playing the best tennis of his life. It's possible, but it stops being comfortable. And for Sinner, comfort in big moments has always been one of his greatest strengths. Take that away and you have a different player. Because here's the question nobody can fully answer right now. What is actually going on with him? He doesn't look injured. He's not withdrawing from tournaments. He's showing up. He's competing, but there's something missing. That edge, that feeling you get watching him when you just know the other player is in for a long night. That's not been there in 2026. The margins in tennis at the top level are tiny. We're talking about a couple of points per set. One break of serve, one moment of hesitation on a second serve return, and right now, those tiny margins keep going against Sinner instead of for him. Against Zverev in Australia, in the tight moments, he didn't find his best. And when Sinner doesn't find his best in the tight moments, that's when you know something is off. Because normally, that's exactly when he's at his most dangerous. Maybe it's fatigue carrying over from last season. Maybe it's mental. Maybe it's just one of those spells that every great player goes through at some point. But whatever it is, it needs to fix itself quickly because the tour doesn't wait. So here's what next week actually means. If Sinner wins Indian Wells, his first ever title there, everything resets. The narrative flips overnight. Suddenly, it's just a slow start. Suddenly, the rivalry is alive again. Suddenly, we're all getting excited about Roland Garros and what happens on clay. One trophy and the whole conversation changes. But if Alcaraz wins it, 3 titles in a row to start the year. A points lead that turns into a points gulf. And Sinner chasing all the way through spring, trying to claw back ground he probably should never have lost in the first place. 2 players, 1 tournament, and the distance between them in points, in confidence, in momentum could look very different by the time it's over. Sinner needs Indian Wells. More than he's probably letting on. Who do you think that will get the crown in Indian Wells? I read you in the comments. That's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. It helps me a lot to keep posting videos daily. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.